What's the...
There's this that I just popped in the chat, which was just kind of like the rogue thread that we had going on a closed MR.
Cool. So here are the new badges. Right, which ones did I can't even remember now. I think that the level contributor level badges are higher res already, right?
That's right.
Which ones do you know which ones aren't? Are there, because we've then got MVP, hackathon first and second, Cortex. I'm not sure which ones.
I think it's all of them except for the contributor level ones.
Okay, great. So let's have a look. Now, God, how easily I can try sharing.
Can I ask another cheeky question since we're here as well?
Yeah, of course.
I noticed that you've been updating the GitLab Hackathon leaderboard, and 3 of my key MRs are no longer populated for some reason under the ones in my thing. So my ranking has dramatically dropped. I'm just curious what's going on.
So I thought I'd fixed the bug. I hope I haven't introduced a new one or broken it and it wasn't broken in the first place. But we identified the fact that the merged and created before parameters for the GraphQL query for merge requests is it basically it only takes the day into consideration, not the time, and it goes to the end of the day. So where the merge requests have to be created, like let's say between Sunday and I know there's been some weird discussion about if somebody says to you an event is running from Monday to Sunday, does that mean it includes the Sunday or not include the Sunday? So there's a bit of a weirdness there. But yeah, where I was saying, I think when I was running the query, I was saying like from Sunday to Monday. And I assumed because we were saying it was created before Monday, I assumed that it would only include ones that were created up until midnight on Sunday. But it was actually going all the way until midnight on Monday. And I thought I'd fix that. So my only guess is that is it possible that you actually created those like after on the day after the hackathon window?
So I see the timestamp, for example, on one of them as July 15th, 10:02 a.m. GMT +2. So that would have been 8 a.m. UTC. So
let me remind myself. So the last one went from July the 9th to the 15th. Yeah, so that should include the whole of the 15th.
Okay.
That's right, isn't it? It went from the 9th to the 15th. It didn't include...
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. July 9th to the 15th. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me just... I don't think I've got anything top secret open. Share. Leaderboard. So we want the hackathon.
I pinged in the chat one of the MRs in question that was created on July 15th within the UTC time zone. So I would just, not a huge deal.
No, but it's
just curious.
Definitely, if I've broken it, I want to know what I've done. So what's in position?
I tried having a look as well, and it looked like your parameters were correct for the created at before and after. And I thought it might have been some of the like linked issue or hackathon labels, but
do you know what it could be? It could be that I thought that the bug with the dates and times impacted issues and merge requests. I wonder if that bug only impacts sorry, not issues and merge requests. I thought it impacted created date and merge date, but I wonder if that bug only exists for created. I guess there might be an easy way for me to find out. So if we use our graphical client and we do in GitLab.org, we look for merge requests and we say merge after. So let's just randomly pick 1st of August.
I think it's going to be a connection type, so you'll have to have nodes and then. Oh no, but that's right. Actually, never mind. Sorry, the parameters are there.
That's right. Let's just so if I do this, my expectation would be that it should come back with 0 because there can't be anything merged after the 1st and before the 1st, but there's 146, so you can quite kind of clearly see that it's definitely not working as we'd expect it to. Another suspicion might be, well, maybe if you just put the date in, it goes until midnight, but if you put the time in, maybe it will fix that. But that doesn't have any impact whatsoever. I can't share my VS Code right now, but Nicholas linked us to the facing code where that's being applied, and essentially it just says like essentially ignores the time, and it says that the date is like less than or equal to. So it's doing on or before this day and completely ignoring the time. Now, I personally consider that a bug. It's definitely misleading, but the problem is we really can't change that at this point because it would be considered, I think, a breaking change. We might be able to update the docs. In fact, that'd be a really good idea. Oksana, do you think you could maybe take a note of that one? And that might be a little one that maybe we could always pair up, or we could just try and update the documents to make it clearer that this GraphQL parameter, let's read the description just to say merge request merge before this date. I think we just need to, make it clearer that the time is ignored and it's on or before this date, not just before this date. So I think if we just update the docs, that'd be a good approach. So thank you very much. So
there's no actual way to do the query as you expected it to be then before that actual date?
So the only way to do it is essentially change it, if that makes sense. So we know that, okay, we're fairly sure there were 146 merge requests on the 1st of August. So if we then change this to the 2nd of August, 302, we get both days. So yeah, essentially, if you just want, you have to take one day away from this. If you actually want everything before the 2nd, then you have to put the 1st in there. Now, so that's for merge. Now let's see what the behavior is for created. I'm going to be so stressed out if this behaves differently. Assumed it was the same, but so created before, that's the same date. Oh God! So I poorly assumed that the behavior would be the same. Behavior isn't the same, so I've broken it by doing that. So let's do a super speedy MR to fix it. Go into the source code. We can open this in the web IDE. And you'll be able to see where I define our variables. So yeah, basically the created before I'm setting as the day before, and I'm doing the same with the merge before, but now we know we don't need to do that. Yeah, we can basically get rid of it. Yeah. This is why it sucks not having any tests, although if they were tests, they would probably be mocking the GraphQL anyway, so it wouldn't have picked it up.
Mm.
I think that's it. So we define merge before day. If it's not null, then we set it equal to the day before. We set the variables. Very often, if create after and before are null, but that's what isn't, then we run. Yeah, I think that's good. The awesome thing is Nicholas created review apps. So we should be able to see test this before we merge. Check the diff as well to make sure I didn't break anything else. So we've got it created before, just before. Yeah, let's get on there. Build in. Just picking that up.
Cool.
Patient, I know. So I mean, while I'm going to be patient. Wait for this. So we've got our review app.
That was super quick.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? But bear in mind, you know, it's such a simple little JavaScript view, whatever you want to call it. So this is actually August data, isn't it? So don't mistake by that. Hackathon. Better?
I'll take it.
Awesome, awesome. And the one that you messaged about was 126609.
Yep.
609. Yeah. Wicked. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Great job.
Well, we like a quick fix, right? Fix bug, merge. I'll take your somewhat silence as approval as well. Okay, so that's that one. Oh yeah, that was our GraphQL. We can close that. We can come back to these. So let me probably want to share Visual Studio instead. Okay, so I should be able to start by, I'm actually going to run another GraphQL query quickly. get the achievements. I know you can't see it, but so for each one, I'm going to get the ID, the name, and the avatar URL. So I'm going to start with the core team one. No, the core team hasn't actually got an avatar. We need one for that.
Ah, so just the default one is also blurry then.
Yes, it is. So I guess we need a higher resolution default Tanuki as well. So MVP, I think, was our first one. So if either of you are curious, I'll drop the current link in so you can have a look at it. And I think I can quite clearly tell that that's 30 pixels by 30 pixels. So the one that you sent me a link to, the star, beautiful. Although it's got a circular background, I don't know if that's an issue or not, but
oh, I can't remember what we decided on the background.
I think maybe it already did have, to be honest. It's just so small you can't really see. But it's got to be better. So yeah, let me download that. Just MVP image.
Oh, actually, the contributor level ones also need to be re-uploaded.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay. So I wonder
They
what
do.
ones. I'm sure one or more of them I did at higher res. Maybe it's the Hackthorn ones. I'll check them all as we go. Right. So the MVP one. So I need to read the docs on how to update.
Oh, I think I have a note somewhere about that.
Yeah, although because I'm doing it from Curl.
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly. It's one we prepared earlier. Be a little bit different, I guess. So we Curl post JSON. This is where it gets tricky. I can't quite remember. Some really clever way we use one password and we can like inject it without ever having to type it in or copy and paste it, or it makes a lot of sense. Typically, I can actually find handbook contribute to success. So in there, we use this little bit of magic here. I hope this access token, that should have the right permissions, but we don't want to award an achievement. We want to update the achievement ID for MVP is still free. Oh, that's convenient. And we want to how we okay. I've done it. It's really annoying. I've done this recently. I should have the
You couldn't just do it from the GraphQL Explorer?
Annoyingly, you cannot do uploads. You can't do file uploads. Right, here we go. Here we go. This is a create as well. So we'll change this to an update. Still the achievement ID. Yeah. So I should be able to drop my file here. Yeah. Magic token back. Now, does that look good? Authorization content. So mutation, achievements, avatar. Looks all right to me. Hope for the best. Unexpected end of document. It's stupid white space. Looks promising. Rerun URL query to get the what's it? Okay, it looks like the image URL stayed the same, but it's now higher resolution. What's that? And if we look at someone's profile, I mean, can you tell? In all honesty, I don't know.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can.
it looks better.
Awesome.
I think so.
I reckon mine might be caching, so I'm just going to disable my cache.
That's perfect because it's sharper and it has the light gray background to match with the light display.
Yeah, I can't really tell on mine. Just look. I guess it's working, but I can't. Yeah, I just can't tell. It's so small. Awesome. Okay, one down, number to go. So you think even the contributor ones need? Well, let's do in order. So hackathon first place is the next one. Okay, that appears to be a low res one. So hackathon first place. Yeah, okay, so we've got a higher res one of those. So update the number. So what I'm going to do this time is find someone who's been first place in the hackathon, who's got that reward. I'll share a link in the chat if any of you want to look. I'm going to load the page, keep it on my screen, and then I'm going to open it in another tab, or maybe just reload the page. So that's best.
Where do these PNGs actually live? Like, is this physically on your computer or is it in the GitLab cloud storage somewhere?
So great question. I think it depends on the GitLab configuration. And I suspect we're probably using something like S3, but I could be completely wrong. It definitely depends on, yeah, I'm sure it depends on your config and object storage. I'm fairly sure they don't live in the database. I think the database just has a reference to wherever they are. But that depends. I think you could probably do like S3, or there's probably some Google equivalent, or if not, you can just put them on the local machine. Right. So I'm staring super close. We can't tell the difference unless again it's cached.
You can also tell by running a query just to get all the achievements in the GraphQL Explorer and then opening the file.
Yeah, so that's actually what I did before. I just opened the file to and
Oh.
could see that it was the bigger one, but okay, so this one doesn't seem to have worked. What did I do wrong? Did I do anything? That's definitely bigger. So I'm just gonna go back to the MVP one.
Well, that one's definitely 150 by 150.
So when you hit the URL, are you seeing 150 by 150?
I am,
Interesting.
but not for the hackathon first place. Not that one, the other one.
So you are for the MVP, but not for first place. So why? What went wrong here? Updated achievement 54, and it's definitely achievement 54. And I called it hackathon-first.png. That is definitely not. I am perplexed. This far. See that they're saying to me. Let's check. Maybe I'll do second place and come back and see. So,
Good idea.
1 second. Place. I'm gonna copy the path just to be super duper. There, I'm guessing it's probably 55. Yeah, 5. It's definitely smaller at the moment. Again, I want to try and bring up. Who came second in that hackathon, so just as well we've got the nice Manager Request leaderboard. Actually, check. So this. That's fine. Updated. No. It doesn't seem to have updated to me.
Yeah, I don't see it updating either.
I wonder what was different about the MVP. I'm just going to try it in like an incognito, like a separate browser. It's not any difference at all. I wonder if I like change the file name or something, whether it all kind of force. But then I don't know why the MVP one worked.
That's bizarre, yeah. It looks right. Hackathon dash second.
Okay.
You have the other file or something saved in the same place, so it's pulling the wrong one.
I genuinely think it's caching, whether it's server-side GraphQL, whether it's Cloudflare, whether it's Amazon Esprit, like it could be anywhere but it might be if we had just been patient and waited till tomorrow or something, it would have, but that seems to have worked now. So I'm going to reload. I personally still can't see reloaded profile. I can't tell any difference myself, but I guess maybe like people with higher res displays or maybe even lower res displays, it's everything's bigger. Maybe we'll be able to see, but so let's do that now for that one. Do the same thing first now. And this one I think will be out. Like I don't think it's a problem reusing the names now, because as long as the path to the file is subtly different.
Actually,
go on.
It does look like the second place hackathon one seems to update. When I look at somebody's profile, it looks like the new one to me.
Yeah, it should definitely. Yeah, it should be the new one now. But I just can't. I can't. Looking at them, I honestly can't tell the difference between before and after when I hit refresh. I guess it's quite so right. So 54 hackathon. This is first place. Yeah, that's the new one.
Nice.
Yeah, they're pointing to the right ones. Okay, so okay, 3 down. I don't need to do that. Oh, team members haven't got one at the moment, so then it's just a level one. So yeah, let's check those. What, these are already at these are already at the higher res.
They are, but what changed is the background.
So let me have a look.
It's extremely subtle, but it's like an off gray, an off white, like 2 shades darker.
So have we just not stressed about the fact that what's the word I'm looking for? The fact that dark mode is going to look rubbish. We just
at least one of them looks right.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to try. I don't know if this will. Oh no, it's not. I was hoping I could put them side by side to actually see, but no chance. Okay, so I'm going to save. Contributor.png. These ones. And it's going to be level 1, which is 59. Missy, can I ask you very kindly if I do all these uploads? Would you mind checking them as we go? Are you going to be able to tell if it's
I'll be able to tell.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
I can, yeah.
Just saves me having to hop, skip, and jump a little bit. It's 2 sets of hands, so I take advantage. So level 1 contributor. So yeah, 1 color. That's, let me check whether it's actually worked. So we now want.
Okay, I can't find any level 1 contributors. Level 3 looks right. And can confirm level 2 looks right too. And level 4 also.
Level 1 contributor. Random, I'll pop them in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Yep, that looks to be good too.
Amazing. So on that, so that's actually my close one. So update MVP from first. Wicked. Okay. So I can't remember where we were now. I think we were looking at, yeah, we're achievements.
Yes.
Achievements UI. So I just struggle to remember exactly where I am at with this. I believe we have, yes, we've got an achievements app, which I think is just like an empty placeholder at the moment. And I think I've got a route for it, which let's try. Open a browser. Nice. So you can actually see my browser. That's handy. So if I do get that all, sure that's right. The browser doesn't work. If it doesn't support JavaScript or something pretty long. I'm going to move everything out of the way and then I can share my screen.
Out of curiosity, why are the design issues usually marked private and invisible?
I guess a lot of the time, would it be like designing content for stuff that maybe hasn't been released yet, or it's tricky because I sort of, yeah, I'm very much an advocate for public. So yeah, I would be tempted to sort of try and argue the case that, you know, everything can and should happen in public, and but potentially if we start having conversations about like legal, like can we use this for legal reasons, and I think when those sorts of conversations start to come up, maybe there's a bit of sensitivity around them. Despite, as I say, the fact that I am quite try and advocate public first as much as possible.
Yeah, it's surprising because GitLab in general does such a good job of separating the private and public code, and that's very clear and delineated in the documentation. But then I've run into some designs and issues like that that seem to all just be unanimously private.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. Feel free to like create an issue somewhere and like start that conversation, assuming like have a quick Google like in handbook, see if there's any notes in there. But you know, I'm happy to sort of back you and make sure we get an explanation that's I don't know, reasonably satisfying. You know, I don't like to push too hard, but at the same time, if we've got good counter arguments, or maybe at least there can be a bit of a, well, you know, each case can be assessed rather than it being the default of always private. And funnily enough, we're actually doing that with the GitLab OKRs at the moment. The OKR project is private, so none of the GitLab OKRs are publicly visible at the moment. And I've been pushing since day one to get that public. But the sort of challenge was about being able to make some public and some private. And I've merged in a change to like GitLab itself, so you can now bulk update the confidentiality of issues and work items, which just kind of unblocks us and hopefully means that it'll be a lot easier for us to now go, right, here's all the OKRs, let's either bulk, make them all confidential, and then we can make the project public. Nothing will be visible, but at least the project will be public, and then people can selectively go and make the OKRs public, and all new ones are created. You then have the options sort of thing. So
that's cool.
We're getting there, but just sometimes need someone to apply a little bit of pressure. So I don't think it's on the nav. What I was trying to get up was my merge request, so we could see what I had actually done, because I genuinely can't remember. Here we go, add the root and the view app. So you can access them. There's no menu item, but you can access them from this URL. I guess it probably mounts an empty view app. So this is going to be one of those I'm using pairing sessions. By the end of the pairing session, all I'm going to figure out is where we're at and what's next, but it's all good. So yeah, it looks like it's mounting an empty view app. We should be able to check that in our dev tools. If it's because it's so small that I can't find it, I would expect it to be here somewhere. But let's have a look what we're doing anyway. So achievements are so now the view app, but the view app one is empty, so I'll just yeah, cool. So at least we know where it is, and it's just a case of actually making it do anything or something. Adding it to the menu, I guess, is something that we need to work on at some point as well. But until it's working, there's not much point in doing that. So yes, what we're going to want to do, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. It might not be the best. It's hard to know how to iterate sometimes with these things. So I'm fortunate that I have introduced CRM from scratch as well. And what we did with CRM, we started with a more basic, it's enabled for this. Where is it? It's under. This is the feature flag.
Are we supposed to see the browser?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you are. Better?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, so what I was looking at is here. Yeah, so we're mounting an empty viewer.
Nice.
I just, as the bit that you did say, put hello in there just to make sure that was coming up. We can use View DevTools hopefully to achievements app and the data, etc. So yeah, we're all good.
Cool.
Now what I was then hoping to do. Oh, there they are. That's not contacts. So I built this feature from the ground up as well. So I kind of know the route that I took with that, and it's just trying to figure out. I think it probably is worth iterating. What we did first was to introduce, I'm going to say like a dumb list, just a table that essentially had a maximum capacity of 100 rows. You know, that's GraphQL's limit. And after that, just tough. But at least it was better than nothing at all or no UI. So you have to use GraphQL at the moment. So we did that first, but then at some point later, we then introduced this kind of magic search. And in order to introduce that magic search, we needed to paginate this, and it was quite a big rework essentially. So it's kind of understanding whether whether there's a lot more effort in doing the 2 iterations, or a lot less effort in doing just the first one, or whether I'm going to waste a lot of time building the dumb version to only destroy it and create the kind of nicer version. So yeah, I'm kind of debating that at the moment. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the contacts. So it's nice that we've got this awesome component, the paginated table with search and tabs, which allows us to kind of do a lot of this stuff without reinventing the wheel. I don't know if we've got a paginated table with search without tabs, or if we can just say we don't want the tabs. I can't immediately think for achievements. I don't think we have like a state or anything, right? we can't enable and disable an achievement, which is an interesting point. Maybe we should be able to, but without that, I don't know what the point in what the tabs could represent.
Yeah.
Maybe I can find out if there's anywhere that we implement that. How do we tell it? So we've got status tabs. I can't see one without tabs. It looks like we've only got this one. Question is, what do we do with status tabs? So I wonder if we just provided an empty array, how that might render. So let's start by importing our feel free to interrupt at any point if I'm doing something crazy and you think, oh, there's a better way to start. So we from the div apparently. Okay, it's because we've got a div as well. Fine. It's really not gonna work. See what it does. Interesting. Complain very heavily. Okay, so it seems
nice.
like it can render without the tabs.
Mhm.
Now the next question I'm going to ask is, do we actually have any searching ability server side? I have a feeling we don't. So the only thing, if I'm not leveraging the tabs and I'm not leveraging the search, the only thing that I'm leveraging is the pagination. Again, I'm just going to ask myself the question, or ask you the question, is it worth us using this component? I think it might still be, because it means when we want to implement these additional things later down the line, that it will make our life easier. So have we got achievements resolver? Yes, we have. And okay, it takes IDs at the moment. So that probably doesn't really make sense for the front end. So let's just have a look. We presumably can pass in some kind of search tokens or search tokens.
Was that how the options populate, like the author and assignee?
Yes, because it looks like the default is
Gotcha.
these two token types. So, expression for binding should be mixing URL. Okay, so that hasn't really helped. I suppose we Well, I guess it has, because it's not showing both
Yeah.
assignee and author, which don't make any sense on this page. If we don't want a search at all, we're either going to have to no if condition around. So this is the status tabs. This is the search wrapper. So there's no VF in here to conditionally display it. So unless we want to modify this component, we can't hide the search at the moment. So I think that's probably reason enough to, I don't know.
Is it that hard to implement search for like
Not really.
avatar name or description?
Oh, no. And again, like, if someone's working on like those back ends, then let's just consider, what was it called? Filters, tokens. Never remember that any that
Oh,
looks
nice.
okay. There's this like weird line, but I'll ignore that for a minute. Well, there's we can't do everything at once. So I'm conscious of time. We're at about an hour, but I'd love to just get a bit of data in there. By all means, if either of you want to drop off, I imagine you may be starving if you've got lunch.
I'll pop off in like 10 minutes.
Cool, sounds good. So we've got to remember how to get GraphQL in. I think in the MR, I had the hindsight to put Apollo in, so it's ready and waiting. We can again steal from this. So we're going to need to create a query. And does this live achievements components? This is in. So we'll add a GraphQL folder and .query.graphql. Query.graphql. It should be get group. I might change it to achievements. That's necessary. And GraphQL, so it's just notes. Add the name for now. I need to fix my what's it's called red suggestions. Query. Data defined. It's going to array our objects. We could be an array. We need to follow it all. It's not long. Yeah. Have we got it? Yes, we have. For the moment. At this point, just be able to see. Get up, broke. This isn't overly helpful at the moment. Just run this in graphical, make sure. Oh.
Oh, there's a
closing brace. So stupid. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a better error there? I think just causing the whole thing to explode. Restart web page. So, and a GraphQL query, and it's getting data back.
Oh, nice.
And there are some achievements in my database, which is great. So I'm hoping this is going to be really, really easy, and the beauty of using these reusable components. Yes, all we need to do is pass the component like a list of items. Just like blah, blah, blah. Show items. Yeah, I'll just try that initially. No, that's definitely not going to work. So, in fact, if we look at this, we'll be able to see. We're going to have to kind of deconstruct the response a little bit. Yeah, because that won't be an array at the moment. That will be object. And it's not really achievements, it's kind of like the group achievements response. It's a way that we can extra. Yeah, so we have to kind of go all the way down to get what we want. Let's call that update that takes data. Apollo. Just that's going to be data group achievements nodes, right? Okay, views working now. Find view. I named it, Notice that some, yeah, like a lot of components don't have a name defined, and I think they probably should. We look, yeah. Why that's it. Save it with my change anyway and see if we can. Probably not passing it enough. Wow. This is required for items. Did I not even? I didn't even pass it in. Missing pop status tabs. Show error message, track the options. Oh yeah, there's loads of required props that it's going to pass it about. Which is interesting because it was rendering before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to just use the table despite everything I've said. Much as it's taking care of. I think you've got GLC for tables. Sworn had might be a prop on GL table. Okay, we'll bring GL table in. Woohoo!
Oh, well done.
Easy as that. I'm happy that we've got data. Yeah, we can then, you know, fill our boots, change in what columns and adding sorting. This table supports like sorting out of the box. You just tell it which columns you want to be able to sort on. I don't know that there's anything else. Initially, just showing the list, right, would probably be the first step, and then, you know, we want to be able to edit and create them from this screen. And it might be nice when we then create a user achievements screen to then link to, so you could click on here, or whether it might not even be a separate screen. I guess it might be from here, you could click and it'd be a modal, or you could expand the section and it would show all the users that have been awarded those achievements or something. And I guess eventually we'll want to be able to award the achievements from this screen maybe as well. So loads to do, but I'm happy with that for today's success.
Very cool.
Any questions?
Not for me, but if you put this up in an MR, I would definitely love to use it as reference because I've got something similar to do after.
Wicked, awesome. As always, obviously open to collaborating on it if you want to push it along. It's definitely sort of nowhere near the top of my list, if you know what I mean. As much as I you know, it'd be nice. I think adding the UI will massively boost the achievements sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, like usability, and it, like, yeah, it'll shout its name a little bit louder, because I don't know how many people know that it exists at the moment. Even just adding it as a menu option will make a big difference.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lee.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad we nailed those logos as well. And yeah, hopefully see you all later in the week.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.